Hey there, welcome. This is The James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Welcome back to the big show. Well, let's stop down and take a look what's going on in the entertainment world with entertainment news. For that, I bring in my buddy Pugs Moran, Dallas radio legend Pugs Moran. Welcome back to The James Show. And we're starting off today's edition of entertainment news with a trigger warning, sort of. Pugs, you with me?
Yeah. No, well, what you're referring to is a very fascinating piece that ran in Variety today. Now, James, are you familiar with content warnings and trigger warnings? Because they're a relatively new phenomenon in entertainment.
Yeah, so I'm guessing you're talking about when you start a Netflix show, up in the top left-hand corner, it has a little rating, and then it'll say violence, nudity, vulgarity, sexual situation, something like that.
Yeah, a content warner or a content warning is designed to alert people that the show they're about to watch might have any kind of disturbing topic, anything from sexual assault, self-abuse, suicide warnings. We see a lot of that, but also smoking. James.
I saw. I've seen that. Like when you watch Mad Men, they warn you because you might see Puck, that your kids might be exposed to an indoor cigarette. Oh my goodness, not a cigarette, not tobacco. Oh,
dude, be forewarned, my little snowflake. You may see someone smoking a cigarette. Now, trigger warnings, though. Trigger warnings are a little bit different. They're sort of this next step that Hollywood has begun to take. Trigger warnings will alert you to things like you've seen this. Strobe lights, maybe you're sensitive to a strobing effect.
Yeah, they do that on a lot of video games these days too. The strobe for epileptics.
Oh, they're very concerned, James. Very concerned. But also trigger warnings. What they'll do is they'll attempt to contextualize maybe outdated content. Like I'll give you an example. So AMC, back a few months back, they ran Goodfellas. Yeah, that's what it was. They ran Goodfellas on AMC. And a new trigger warning that appears before Goodfellas is, hold on, I wrote this down. Let me find it for you.
Oh, wait, so you're saying they're going back and retroactively adding trigger warnings to pieces of content that previously didn't have them?
Well, they're not just letting us know that there's going to be smoking and boobs or curse words, the way they used to. Now they're going even deeper, and an example of how far they're going is what AMC did with Goodfellas. Before Goodfellas aired, they said, TV mature, NC said, whatever it is, but they also said Goodfellas contains cultural stereotypes that are inconsistent with today's standards of inclusion and tolerance.
Who is offended by Goodfellas, though? The Italians?
I don't know. That's what I mean. So anyways, the question and what Variety was writing about this morning is, are they going too far? Because this comes on the heels of a study. They did a big study to see if trigger warnings or content warnings were doing the good that they were intended to do, which is, have a little sensitivity to people that have been through some stuff and just give them a heads up. Something might be coming.
Sure.
Now again, I mentioned they included smoking, which, kind of you lose credibility when you're worried about people being offended by smoking. But we understand it may have been the best of intentions. So they did this study to see if they've achieved any of their goals. And guess what they found out? They found out that not only did the people who were warned not run away from it, but they stayed and watched it. And then the anxiety caused by knowing it was coming actually had more of an adverse effect on them.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad they suffered for being so sensitive. Right?
Here's what I want to give to you, because I know that this is probably something that you can run with. James, just off the top, this entire subject, why are we so concerned about offending the weakest among us? If you cannot handle someone smoking a cigarette, why are we concerned about you?
So this is lawyers. The smells of lawyers in the background who say, listen, all you got to do is throw up some words. And if anybody tries to sue you, this will be the shield we use in court to keep you from having to go through the process. Because even if you go through the process and win in the court case, the process is still a punishment because it's going to be very expensive. So you have to set up your operation in a way that bypasses summary judgment. You know, when a judge sees a lawsuit and decides if there's enough of a piddling case to go forward with, it has to be so cut and dry that it doesn't even get past that, so you don't have to pay the lawyers in the first place. So that's why you're seeing the overreach on behalf of the overly sensitive. Why? Because they sue, or other entities will sue on their behalf, even if no one's really offended.
It's just another example, and this is, we see it masked in moral crusading. But what we're talking about is just indemnification from litigious people. There's a plausible deniability is what they're looking for here. Should something go haywire because somebody saw one of their stupid shows, they could say, we tried, we warned them. They don't actually care. It's plausible deniability.
Right, and it's just the same way that the guy listening to us probably had to take 9 tests this year on something politically correct, white people suck or whatever, and don't sexually harass anyone. So whenever those lawsuits do come up about some discrimination, whether it's legit or not, the lawyers have something to point at to say, no, we are not fostering a hostile work environment. We make them take tests every quarter. We make them go over the sexual conduct rules and all that. And it really is just sort of defensive, litigious pre-gaming.
Well, what do you think of what appears to be a selective nature in who they're concerned about offending? I understand cursing. Maybe you got kids around the house, you don't want them watching something that it's going to have cursing. I get that. I understand maybe even sexual abuse. That seems compassionate to me. You want to let somebody know something's coming. But why? There are a lot of people in this country. Let's take the mainstreaming of homosexuality in television and movies and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of people who find that deeply offensive. Do they warn those people? Do they warn your I think you're misguided if you have a problem with homosexuals. But there are a lot.
But they exist. But
those people are out there, and they are deeply offended because of their faith or whatever.
Do they sue?
But is there any concern for them offending them?
There doesn't need to be because they don't sue.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Okay. All right. I don't know. I do not like the selective nature of all this, and I certainly don't like that we seem to be protecting the weakest. If you can't handle someone smoking a cigarette, my goodness, you need to be removed from society.
Yeah, well, I also use these warnings. I take them in the opposite manner as not like something you should stay away from. I find them very encouraging. So like when my wife starts a TV show and there's going to be like foul language and nudity and sexual situations, I'm like, well, I'm probably going to like this. Good choice, baby. Appreciate that. Yeah. Kids, get out of here. We're going to have some adult time in the living room. We're in the middle of entertainment news with the great Pugs Moran, Dallas radio legend. Pugs, as a guy who is both in charge of being my entertainment reporter, and then also you're a fan and you have quite a bit of depth of expertise in mixed martial arts and fighting. I'd like to hear your thoughts on what happened with the Mike Tyson-Logan Paul fight being delayed. Now, they were supposed to fight next month, and then I heard, or it's been reported that Mike Tyson's had some issues with like a stomach ulcer, so he hadn't been able to train. And so Netflix says, okay, well, we're not going to do it in July, but we'll do it before the end of the year. Is there anything fishy about this to you, Pugs?
The whole thing is fishy. From the very beginning, it seemed like something that was a stunt. Mike Tyson is an almost 60-year-old man who started training really hard for a fight against a giant kid in his 20s, and he got hurt. Why? Because as you get older, your body breaks down quicker. I do not know the current status of this fight. I reported on my daily live stream, yesterday that it was back on, but now today I'm seeing it was supposed to be rescheduled now, I guess, in November at the same location, AT&T Stadium. But now today I'm reading stuff that it may not be on. So I do not know the actual status of it. I think it's a scam. I think it's silly. I don't know what Mike Tyson is doing. I think Mike Tyson could lose.
See, that sounds so weird because I know our natural instinct is Mike Tyson would destroy him. But Jake Paul's no slouch. He didn't have the same professional boxing career and background that Mike Tyson had. But, that age difference does count at some point.
5 years ago, Jake Paul, who was already a pretty good athlete and a multi-millionaire YouTuber, Jake Paul decided to dedicate himself to learning how to be a professional boxer. It's been 5 years. He has fought real people. It was a joke in the beginning, but right now he is a competent boxer. He's not in the top 10 ranked in the world or anything like that, but he is a competent, young, gigantic professional boxer. And Mike Tyson is a 60-year-old man who smokes weed all the time. I'm sorry. I don't want to see Mike get hurt. He means too much to me in my childhood.
Do you think he would get hurt, or do you think he would start to take a beating and tap out between rounds?
James, after 3 weeks of training for this fight, he needs major surgery. So, yeah, I think that he could get hurt. I think that he could take a punch to the ribs and his entire spine could crumble. He's an older man.
All right, because I like to come up with something I use on the James Show to just not really shock people, but just make them see what a difference the age bit is I make the claim that I could beat up Chuck Norris. Now, I know Chuck Norris is in the area. Please don't come kick my butt if you still can. But he's like 84 at this point, and even though I'm 47, I can beat up any 84-year-old, couldn't I?
No. You're not Jake Paul. Jake Paul could probably beat up Chuck Norris, but you can't. You need to stop saying that. That's absurd.
Dude, he's like 5'7" and I'm 6'3", and I'm not an Olympic athlete, but I'm still in some shape.
He will just, before you even know what's happening, he will have collapsed your larynx. You'll stop breathing and he'll walk away and wait for you to suffocate. He knows things.
I can't see it. How can you say Mike Tyson will lose to Jake Paul, but I can't beat up Chuck Norris?
No, you can't.
I'm not beating up Chuck Norris 1981. I'm beating up Chuck Norris 2024.
I don't buy it.
Dude, I walked past him at that California pizza kitchen that used to be on Beltline, and I'm almost twice as tall as that guy is. Still no.
Don't you also think you could take Brittany Griner?
No. I think I could take Caitlin Clark. I don't think I could take Brittany Griner.
Okay, good. All right, very good.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm 3 inches taller than Caitlin Clark. I don't think I could now, but when I was in better shape, I could dunk a basketball, and Caitlin Clark cannot. She definitely would beat me in like a game of horse, I would imagine. But no, there's the biology is at least comparable.
Wait. Caitlin Clark would beat you in absolutely everything basketball related. What she wouldn't beat you in is probably a fist fight because she's just a girl. And I would give you the edge on Caitlin Clark.
You don't think I could out-rebound Caitlin Clark?
Oh, God, no. No, I don't. I think she'd probably have moves that you know.
But I can jump up and grab the rim still. She can't. She can't grab the rim.
It doesn't matter. Have you ever seen her three-point shot? No need for it. Your rebounding skills will not be needed. She is a sharpshooter. She set the all-time NCAA record for points being a sharpshooter, men's and women's. Dude, come on.
No, I hear you on that, but I could still box. I could box her out of the paint.
Yeah. She's not going to drive on you, James. She's just going to can 40-foot threes. You're nuts. Go Mavs.
You might be able to beat her, Pugs. Give yourself a break. Do the Mavs have any I know this is kind of sports, but it overlaps with entertainment. Mavs are down 0-2. There's going to be a party down here next door to our studios because we're by the American Airlines Center, and I'm going to go to it, and I'm going to enjoy it while I can. But my optimism, my window of optimism for the Mavs getting the championship, it's closing pretty fast, and it will be shut tonight if they don't win.
Two interesting things happening with the Mavs game today. First and foremost, there's a birthday boy. Jrue Holiday of the Celtics is celebrating a birthday, so we don't want him to have a nice birthday, so there's that. But then Jerry West died today. Talk about a little bit of a Hollywood entertainment sport crossover. Jerry West, the logo, the guy, the NBA, you know, when you see the NBA logo on a jersey, that's Jerry West. They took him in his crossover dribble. That's Jerry West. He died today. He was an LA Laker. And he is famous. One of his famous quotes, James, is Paul Revere should have slept in and let the British burn this whole of a town to the ground. That's how much Jerry West, the great Laker, hated the Boston Celtics. So on this...
That's not a bad argument.
On this, the day that he passed, I think, yeah, there might be a chance that we can edge out the Celtics tonight.
All right, thank you. That's Pugs Moran. You can find him at the Radio Misfits. Tell them about your weekly or your daily stream there, Pugs.
Every day at noon, Pugs Moran. Just Google me. You'll find me. Follow me. It's current events without, divisive rhetoric.
Yeah, and you don't have to watch it live. You can watch it later at 10 o'clock at night before you go to bed or when you're done binging Netflix. Thank you very much, Pugs.